Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review round 3 of the 2025 NRL Supercoach season. In what was not a great week for us, nothing really went to plan. I guess in the other formats it went alright, but we'll talk about those at a later date. But for Supercoach, a lowly 936 this week, which saw us drop back 17,000 spots. So back out to 58,000 overall. As duck egg in the league wins column. A bit of cash has been made, I suppose, which is nice, but it didn't go well in terms of the rankings and the points this week. But we'll have a look at the team. So we had Corey Pakes on field for a 43 at hooker, which was better than Sandon Smith, who only got a 20. Our front row continues to be pretty good. Taylor May, another massive 73. Tino with 61 is decent. Corey Horsburgh with 58. I guess, take off the sin binning, and that would have been a nicer higher score. But Nafahu White, unfortunately, we didn't play on field, and that cost us 87 points. In the second row, so Mitch Barnett continues to sort of be underwhelming for what we were hoping for. 50 points is okay, but at 600k we do want a bit more from the big man. Tommy Gilbert, 47. He's sort of slowed down from round 1, but he's making money. Green arrow there, so he's fine for the time being. Kobe Hetherington with 38. I think he is just going to plod and not really make us a lot of cash. So he's one I would like to trade out, but I think there's bigger issues this week. Tuolangi obviously is a bit of a dead option there on the bench, so we do need to make something happen there. Vinny Fuyaki with 32, coming back from his concussion. So I don't think the break-evens are worse. 35, he's definitely capable of hitting that. And I think he has more upside than Hetherington. So I'd be trading Hetherington before Vinny Fuyaki, but I may not be able to trade either this week. Hubner, first week of his suspension, so we continue to hold. Nathan Cleary, unfortunately, HIA'd out, only 2 points. Great thing about having the flex is that score dropped out pretty quick smart, so it wasn't a complete disaster. But Jamie Humphries was a great trade-in, so probably the one thing we did get right this week with a 79. And obviously will be very useful on-field option this week with Nathan Cleary missing. The 5/8, so Luke Metcalf, I guess the roller coaster. He's taken over from SJ in every sense. They're at the Warriors with the 23 this week. But Jaden Campbell was fantastic with a 117. So this is why we brought him in. This is what he is capable of there in the 5/8 position. So fantastic to see that come off this week. And then in the centre wing, nothing went right for us. So we traded out Leia Tower, who dropped, I think it was an 80 odd. I didn't check the final updates, but let's have a look. No, it went up to 95, so that's even worse. Break even of 2. Meanwhile, we kept RTS, who copped a hamstring injury, 36. Jarrell Skelton, who copped a hamstring injury, 39. Marzu, who's on the bye this week, and a 38. But our cheapies, Broncos win okay. Shibasaki and Arthurs, not that we played Shibasaki, but some good cash gen there. Tamale we brought in as well, so underwhelming with a 25. And Toya with a 26. Forgivable, given he was so cheap and has made us some good cash. But I guess considering we talked about trading RTS to go up to Haas, who obviously went massive. What did Haas get? Again, remind myself of how much I missed out on. 140. Wow. I guess as well the other big one was Garrick. We'll probably look at all this in a minute anyway. But 157 monster from him. He was in our team preseason, and then we went to this mid-price madness. It clearly has not paid off this week. And then at fullback, we had Iongi with 57, which wasn't too bad, all things considered. Obviously, Tommy Turbo missing a week. Hopefully, he's back this week. And then Kalen Ponga, we captained 45, which obviously wasn't the best option for captaincy this week. And with him on the bye, as I said, we are really hoping that Tommy Turbo comes back. Otherwise, we are struggling for players. But we'll have a look at the head-to-heads. Not that they're too great for myself. So the Bunnies Marks team got me with a 971. So he had Pappy as vice captain with the 66. He kept Leia Tower, so that was probably the difference maker in the end. Trindle was quite good with a 97, and DCE with a 105 at halfback. So yeah, a few difference makers there, which was nice. But just having a look through the league, I think the Duke, Jeff's team with a 1206 was the winner this week. So he VC'd Payne Haas, so that was a pretty easy option there. Also had Ruben Garrick. So I think, those were the two keys to a big score this week. DCE was good as well. I had Jaden Campbell, so there was a few good halves. Adam Reynolds with the 120, so that wasn't doubled as well, I've just noticed. So, yeah, I think, if you had Haas, Garrick, I think Hines as well. So, for those that non-Cleary owners, if you had Hines, that's about a 100-point swing this week, plus obviously the difference with Cleary missing this week. But back to the leagues. In the second league, a 1035 for Cam's team, Shake and Bake. So he had Hines, so he is sitting pretty, and he had Garrick as well. So crushing it there with those two selections. And he played Nafahu White as well, so that's on me. But I can see a couple of 1200s, a 1296. So it looks like Blitzkrieg, Sam's team, top scoring in the second league. So he VC'd Payne Haas as well. Nice. Had Adam Reynolds. Farnworth with an 85 is good. Hudson Young with a 91 is a good pod in the second row. Munster had Ruben Garrick as well, so yeah, fantastic. And even left some points on the bench just to really rub it in. So well done, Sam. Awesome. The third league. So 1072, the Midnight Ramblers got me. He had Payne Haas. Dave did. Olakwatu with an 83 from all reports was quite good and played Nafahu White. But let's have a look. A couple of 1200s in this league too. Looks like a 1224 for Leonard, the Samoan Kiwi. So VC Payne Haas, I'm seeing a theme here with these big scores. Aside from that, just solid contributions perhaps. I guess, yeah, Ruben Garrick, there he is down the bottom. Other than that, no real monster scores, just solid contributions across the team, which is good to see. Fantastic. Just have a quick look of the overall. Down to 77th in this league, that's pretty yuck. But 1296 for Blitzkrieg we've seen. Was there any 1300s? Doesn't look like it. Unless they're coming from deep in the pack. Haven't seen any. Yeah, so there's lowly old angry pirates. Alright, let's see if there was anyone else we missed this week. So Garrick, Haas, Reynolds, Jaden Campbell we talked about. Hines, CNK 115, Mulatalo with a 109. So, that high risk, high reward sort of pick with the flex in particular. Mulatalo's great. Bradman best. So I think I saw my draft teams went pretty well. I think he features in both. Toto with a 106, so nice for those that stuck with him at the start. Alamotti picked up some goals as well, which is pretty handy. 102. Braden Trindle's been solid. Appy Coruscant, so another one that features in my draft teams. Leia Tower we've touched on. Tom Jenkins is an interesting one, obviously playing fullback with Laurie and Edwards both out. I don't know his lifespan in that position, but 91 is a great start for anyone. The 117 super coaches that have him in the squad. Trey Mooney's a big watch. I saw Morgan Smithies has gone down injured as well. So an 89 to start, he could be a really nice downgrade option for a Kobe Hetherington, for example. Let's have a look at break-evens as well. So Tui Pelotu and Gutho back this week, so could be big targets with their nice break-evens. Obviously, Tommy Jenkins has a nice break-even with the price and the 91 in the average. Matty Nicholson scored a 49, so still got some good value this week. San Rami, so interestingly, Addo Carr came back and it was, I think, Russell made way. So maybe San Rami's got a bit of a long-term look in the team at bottom dollar. Could be a nice little cash earner. Cant with an 88 in his first game, so he's a watch after the bye. Mamazelis is doing well, so if you started with him at hooker, well done. Hamish Stewart, he's one I'm interested to see if he gets named this week. I think, he's a pretty good option to plug in your FRF4. He'll make a bit of cash and, obviously frees up a bit of money if you're like me and with an absolutely stacked front row. It would be handy to have a bit of balance there. But Humphreys, don't think it's too late to get on. Maybe after this week it's pushing it. But, if you need cover for Cleary on a budget, he might be your guy. Hubner's got one more week, so we wait. Starling can wait. Starling, 53 this week was pretty good. Still got some money to make. But it was interesting to see that, once the game was blown out, they did give Paddy a few more minutes. So I guess that was sort of what I was afraid of. And it could go either way. Obviously, if Canberra's winning by a lot too, it could work the same way. So I was happy I went Humphreys over Starling just for that reason. So, it's not the worst pick, but good one if you got on. Stafford Toa's on the bubble this week. If you're looking for a cheapish centre wing, obviously Sam Rani's got a slightly better break-even and slightly lower price. Arthur's 117k in the bank. Thanks for coming. I thought he was going to go a bit bigger than 62, but he'll easily make us 200k cash, which you love to see. Katoa's been pretty good. 74 this week, averaging 71 in a team that hasn't actually won yet. So he could be a super pod if you're on him. Nafahu White's got some good runway now for cash with a -10 break even. Jackson Purdue we traded out and he goes and gets a 67 and kickstarts his cash gen, so that's super frustrating. Paps with a 66 this week will be a big trade-in target as well, given Nick Meaney's out for a few weeks, so Paps will be kicking goals. But unfortunately, I think I've got bigger problems to fix than my fullback situation at the moment. Taruva, still got a bit of cash to make, but is super expensive. Probably wouldn't go there. Docker Clay, I think there's better options at hooker. Harris Tavita's still in the negative, so could be an option at 5/8. McLean, he's reset his cash gen now after the HIA game first up, I think it was, that he had what was it? He went, yeah, that's right. It was the Vegas game. He went off super early. So he should start making some cash now for those that held, or if you want to bring him in, could be an option. Leia Tower, so frustrating. Payne Haas with a break even of 4, so he will still make money this week. Made 100k this week. Well done to those who got on. Adam Reynolds is a cash maker. It's his unreal start. It won't last forever, I don't think, but well played if you got on there. And yeah, I think after that, positive break-evens aren't the biggest consideration there. So, in terms of what we need to do with this rubbish pile of a team, it's not that bad. Like I said, it was more unlucky this week. Injuries, can't help that. But given these guys are both hamstrings, I think these might be the priority, is to move on Skelton and RTS. And I think you can see with the bit of cash that they make, as well as if we use another boost, and we use Tuolangi's money, because that's a lot of money sitting on the bench doing nothing, is what it allows us to do is to get Payne Haas in, get Ruben Garrick in. Alright, so we then need to go pretty cheap with our last reserve, or our last trade in the centre wing. We don't have a lot of flexibility in the squad, but we do, looks like we do have Sam Rani, which is pretty handy. So we can bolster the squad that way. Obviously still a lot of money in the front row, so I probably should actually flip Tino into the second row, get Hetherington on the bench, the peanut. And so this week, I think obviously Cleary's got to come off, so Humphries is fine on field. I'll just bang it on Haas. Haas will probably come on field, I'd imagine. I think Warriors play in the last game, so Metcalf will play on the bench. We could potentially even fade him as a reserve. Tom Travojevic, I think, comes on. So yes, I guess they'll play this week, given they play on Friday night. Tigers play in the last game, so we will bench May. But VC on Payne Haas, into Tommy Turbo at Brookvale, assuming he plays. If he doesn't, well then we just don't have a flex, and that happens. But I guess also we can just bang Ponga in there, and Tommy Turbo will be on the reserve. We do need to get rid of Greg Marzu. So maybe against the Dolphins, maybe again Shibasaki and Arthurs go good. I don't know if we're playing Sam Rani though, so Tamale comes on. Playing against the Cowboys, don't hate that. But then what do we do for this last reserve? We've got Toya against the Titans. I mean, they looked good against the Knights, but that was at home, so maybe Toya in Sydney against the Titans. I guess the other options are Finney Fuiaki or Hetherington. As I said, I think Hetherington's a plotter, and I need to get rid of him. I think, I wish I had another trade to go to Nicholson. But, yeah, and maybe just next week we go to Stewart, who should make a bit of cash, but we can then move, again, White or Horsburgh down here. And, yeah, just not have so much money in the front row would be ideal. But yeah, it's probably Toya or Finney Fuiaki for that last position this week. Yeah, so yeah, Raiders play fairly late in the week, so Horsburgh's right on the bench. Yeah, so obviously we've got a couple of days to make that decision. It's not the worst, but this is what I'm thinking initially is, you know, get the money out of the bank on the field. Obviously, we're not getting Ruben Garrick's 157, but against Parramatta at 4 points, he should still score well, and he's a keeper anyway. Payne Haas is a keeper, so unfortunately we've had to pay 100k extra. How much extra will you have to pay for Garrick? It doesn't say. Let's have. It should say on here, shouldn't it? Yeah, so he's an extra 70. It is what it is. So again, maybe this is chasing points. I will have a think about it, but again, probably depends on the extent of the skeleton and RTS injuries. But I guess this is what I'm feeling this week. So we'll go from there. But as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the Supercoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel, and other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.